Alright guys, welcome back to the channel here. Thank you guys for tuning in. Today I'm going to be working on this MR2 here. We're going to get the wiring harness on it, probably get the starter connected up to it, and then I'm going to put the exhaust manifold on, lower it off the jack stands, and then try to connect up intake stuff. I may have to run and get brake fluid just to bleed the clutch, and then should be able to get this thing hopefully fired up. But the biggest thing is I need to figure out what I'm doing for battery, because I don't have battery tray in here anymore. Get it mounted in the trunk, but maybe I can at least get it started, make sure it runs. But I also need to get fuel because I emptied out the fuel tank when I did the fuel pump. But let's get started. All right, here we go. Got this wiring harness. I'm gonna drop it down here. Hopefully be able to get this all on here. This is kind of a jumbled nightmare right now, but it will get a lot easier as we go along. So I'm gonna go under, and then I'm gonna get the starter wire plugged in and the starter terminal bolted on as well. So down we go. All right, we're ready and going under. It's a good thing I left the starter loose, because at least with the starter loose, I can just pull it back out and hook up that wire and then put it back together. Is there any slack up there in the wiring harness, or is it getting caught in something? Or I can move it more?
I think, hold on. I think you can probably move like a little bit like that. Is that fine?
Yeah, something like that.
All right. I'm gonna grab the 12 and get everything else tightened up. Okay.
Let's see. Aha. Good thing I grabbed the 14, because the 12 is the wrong size.
Oh. With the 14 like bolt.
Huh?
Like the bolt.
Yeah.
Hmm. Are they all down there in 14?
Huh?
Are they all down there in 14?
This specific starter bolt is a 14, yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to grab the exhaust manifold right over there, and I'm going to figure out how I'm going to get it under here, but here we go.
Alright.
All right. Well, got the exhaust manifold on, and now I just need to tighten up all the bolts. Got one tightened, I just need to get the rest of them tightened. All right. Let's get that out of the way. Let's see if I can climb up here.
How many bolts are there typically on one?
Well, this one specifically has 5. Range anywhere from 5 to 7, sometimes 8. Kind of depends, but yeah.
Like in sizes?
Oh, no, just in the amount of bolts.
Oh, okay.
So this one happens to be a 14 millimeter.
Okay.
head.
So what bolt size do you have now?
So it is still a 14. I just had to get a deep socket because this one has a stud on it. So the nut would run down and then the stud would stick out too far, so the socket wasn't deep enough. It kept pushing up against this and just pushing the socket right off the bolt or the nut head. So
Okay.
I had to switch to a deep socket.
Okay.
Make sure the rest of these are tight. Now that we got the exhaust manifold on, now I can finish putting more of the wiring harness on, but also need to hook up some oil cooler lines that are under there, but I don't know if I have the hoses, so I gotta go find those.
Okay.
All right. Remembered I also have to put a serpentine belt on as well, so I did not do that initially when I started this project and put it all back in the vehicle. Since there's no adjuster on this, I'm just using a pry bar to move the alternator bracket over. And just so it can tighten on the belt, I'm just prying off of the thermostat housing here, or one of the water housings here, because the thermostat's on the other side, if I remember correctly. But yeah, okay, doing that. This down a little further. Perfect. All right. Now that serpentine belt is tight, and we should be good to go. Yeah. Alright. So now I'm just going to go around connecting stuff. All these little connectors for different coolant sensors and a lot of little different things here. Let's see. So I ran into a little conniption here with the wiring harness. I had to reroute it. I had to go under the fuel rails and remove the fuel rails and a heater hose and whatnot, but we are back in business. I did want to mention to you guys, because you may have seen in one of the previous captions to one of my other videos that this is the Giveaway MR2. Well, the person holding the camera is my little brother, and he's the one I'm giving it to for his first car. So once this thing's put back together, it'll be his. And yeah, since he just turned 16, and be a fun first car for him, I think. So let's get to building it.
Oh yeah.
All right, so now we're going back together with the fuel rail and fuel injectors. And I need to fish this harness around to make Make sure we have it routed properly. This one here. All right, perfect. Now these injector spacers for the fuel rail. To make sure the fuel rail fits. And we're gonna put these all in their respective holes. And then bolt it all together.
Nice.
Now, the number of fuel injectors you have is dependent upon the number of cylinders you have, generally, except for the FRS. The FRS has 4 cylinders, but it has 8 injectors because it's direct injection and port injection. But this is just port injection, and it has 4 injectors, so it's 4-cylinder.
Okay. Is that why there's also 4 holes there?
Yeah, so that's for the spark plug wires.
Okay.
And the spark plugs are right down in the head there.
Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
So that means the spark plugs power each cylinder.
Yep. Yep, you get 1 spark plug per cylinder. Unless you're a Ford Ranger or some weird Rams, they have sometimes 2 spark plugs per cylinder.
Oh, wow. And,
Yeah.
And how many cylinders are they typically?
So a Ford Ranger, I believe it's the 4-cylinder one that has 2 spark plugs, so it would have 8 spark plugs for a 4-cylinder engine.
Oh, wow.
Oddly enough. But yeah.
That's wild. That's wild.
Yeah. Yep, some of the oddities of some of the vehicles. And then same with like the Dodge Ram, that'll have 2-cylinder or 2 spark plugs per cylinder. It's a V8.
So that means it would have 16 spark plugs.
Yep.
Dang.
Which is a little overkill in my opinion, but if it works, it works.
Yeah, true.
This does have a 5th fuel injector because it's weird, but it's only to help with cold starts. So, and it may or may not work. I don't know. I know I have it cleaned though when I took these injectors to get rebuilt.
Okay, so is it like an important thing? That one?
Not necessarily. It just makes cold starts a lot easier, like during the winter time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Alright, found the throttle cable bracket, got that mounted up, so we are back in business with that, making sure that works. Now I'm plugging up the spark plug wires and getting that all set up and ready to go. At some point I'm going to have to retime the engine as well, which, or I say retime the distributor, which will be pretty simple. But yeah, now I'm back to figuring out which spark plug wire goes to which cylinder. Obviously 2 goes to 2, but where on the distributor does it go? Let's see, 1, 2. All right, with the help of Google, it looks like this one right over here should be cylinder number 2. So it should be 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Because on the distributor top, which tells me 1 and 4, it just doesn't tell me where 2 and 3 are. So according to Google, that should be 2. And we'll just go. Perfect. All right, we are all good to go now. So those are all connected. Basically, it just needs fuel, battery, oil hose is still hooked up, and the exhaust hooked up. Fuel return line. It's definitely gonna need the fuel return line because of that high pressure fuel pump I put in there. It's definitely gonna need the return. And let's say we should be able to start this thing pretty soon. Probably not today, but very, very soon.
Nice.
All right, so we got quite a bit done on the MR2 here. It's quite a bit closer. Got the, of course, exhaust manifold on, plug wires on, and the throttle linkage on. For the next video, for this one, I'm gonna probably get a return line for the fuel rail, get the exhaust, the rest of the exhaust connected back up, and then I'm going to, of course, fill it with fuel, get the oil lines connected, and see if I can get this thing to start. There's a couple of connectors that I have of stuff that I completely removed from the vehicle that I need to figure out if I'm gonna need to keep in here. But I'm also gonna have to connect up mass airflow sensor, which will be pretty simple. But I hope you guys did enjoy this video. Please like, subscribe, share, and just comment down below. Just remember, don't quit on a body that won't quit.